What happens when you only level up skill in Bloodborne? Hello everybody, welcome back. Stream Your Mind here, and today I'm going to show you how powerful a hunter can become while only leveling up skill. Because we all know that if you can't do something in this life, it's always a skill issue. But before we start ripping Bloodborne to pieces, I just want to warn you that I've been sick for the past week, so if you're wondering why I sound like Joe Biden on fentanyl, now you know the reason. Also, I'm trying to reach 10,000 subs by the end of the year, and it would be amazing if you could help me reach that goal. And with all that out of the way, we can finally begin our journey. After creating a strong female lead Hollywood would be proud of and giving her a badass name, I picked the professional class due to my expertise in substance abuse. After escaping from the rehab clinic for the third time this week, I was caught red-handed in a corner sniffing some of that sweet blood I was craving for so long. I woke up in what it looked like to be a Scientology church, where I picked up the threaded cane. And I know this weapon isn't the greatest, but I actually had a blast using it, and it's also a pretty funny concept for a weapon. I picked a hunter pistol like the good old American I am, and I returned to the clinic to show off I was finally cured from my addiction, and it was all thanks to Jesus. I tried getting the Forbidden Wood skip to get access to upgrade materials and farm spots as early as possible, but things between me and the werewolf weren't really working out. For those of you who don't know, visceral attacks scale primarily with skill. With our current level, we do roughly 200 damage, but that number will get much higher by the end of the run. Since I didn't want to waste too much time attempting the skip, I began running around Central Yharnam, farming as many blood vials as I could, pick up all the upgrade materials I would find along my path, and everything else in between. And once I was stacked on both these crucial items, I attempted the skip once again. And this time, not only did the werewolf kiss me, this time we went all the way, because if you start smashing, no pun intended, R1, L1, R2 and L2 at the same time while being grabbed close enough to the gate, you'll be able to clip through it, making you feel like the Chad gamer that you absolutely are, while also granting you an early access to the Forbidden Woods, which is also nice. Be careful though, as even a wet paper towel can kill you in this area. Enemies here drop tons of blood echoes for early game, which makes it perfect for farming levels, and they sometimes drop single blood shards. Also, the area is full of twin shards laying around for you to pick up. But first, I was ready to see what good old grandpa was up to. Oh good, he's just chopping his wood just like I used to do back in high school. Gotta keep up the tradition, I guess. Brother, you should really start brushing your teeth more often, or you'll end up like Asmongold, I swear. After making sure what skill issue actually meant, I returned to show him how it's really done. His first phase is definitely the hardest to parry, as the windows of opportunities are much smaller than the ones in his beast mode. Though I got pretty good at it pretty fast. His rolling attack is your best chance for the parry. Whenever he pulls out the transformed axe, just wait until he spins that thing around like a stripper during pole night, and after 5 or 6 parries and riposte, he should transform. As I said before, in his beast version, he becomes much easier to parry. Just wait for him to do anything and shoot to win. And just like that, Father Gaspacho went down. I picked up the Blood Gem Hunter tool, unlocked Cathedral Ward, and returned to the dream where my AI sex doll had finally arrived. I got my cane to +2, leveled up skill from 15 to 19, changed my clothes to look like the guy in the front cover, cause I am a cover girl after all, and I returned to Cathedral Ward. Picked up all the shards in the area, quickly returned to the woods to loot, to shoot, and to get good. And after upgrading my cane to +4, I went to pay a little visit to the best girl one could ever desire. But before getting to my date, I had to convince this hunter to skip this ladder to reach the bottom faster. And it worked just fine, but he didn't really enjoy it. I upgraded my cane some more thanks to some werewolf farming, and applied whatever gems I had found up to that point. By the way, screw them dumb crows, useless motherfuckers. BSB was a bit more problematic than Father Gasoline, but not really. I was able to parry her pretty consistently in phase 1, 2 visceral were enough to trigger phase 2. My defenses though were so low that 1 hit was enough to trigger the poison. Fortunately, I brought some antidotes with me, but this meant that I had to be extra careful while dodging and attacking her, in order to avoid the status effect. I also realized halfway through the battle that I didn't bring enough vials nor bullets to the fight, so I had to finish the rest of the date with what I had left. Fortunately, I was able to finish the fight before getting poisoned, and my antidotes were just enough to get me through it. After changing into something more comfortable and fresh for the summer, I had finally gotten access to the Chalice dungeons, and in particular, one dungeon. And yes, it's the cum dungeon, and no, I'm not going to make a joke about it this time. I made enough money to buy blood vials and bullets to not worry about them for a while. Then I went to kill the cleric beast for some easy money, as my damage output was enough to render this fight a complete joke, just like my real life. Back in Cathedral Ward, I got killed and kidnapped, and I found myself on an episode of How to Catch a Predator. I also noticed that one of my kidneys was missing, but I had no time to worry about that, as I was here to farm some blood twin shards, and farm them I did, while occasionally picking up other goodies. Once I managed to escape, I opened the rest of the cathedral area, opened up the shortcut, left this fight scene in the video because I personally think it looks badass. Got smashed harder than Monica Lewinsky in the Oval Office and arrived in Hemwick Charnel Lane. Unlocked the shortcut to the witches, got the twin shards from the hidden scurrying beast before the boss room, triggered the fight to collect the insight point, and I returned to the Hunter's Dream. I upgraded to +6, spent my insight on some stuff I didn't really need, and I leveled up some more. I quickly ran back to the witches, and there isn't much to say here. They are literally the easiest boss in the game, so... Moving on, after picking up the Rune Hunter tool, I then returned to the dream to level up once again. Then I killed the first boss on the first floor of the first story Chalice dungeon. Jesus, those are a lot of firsts. So I could use the reverse Chalice dungeons. I searched for this particular dungeon using this glyph, and I started farming these big knights with flame swords. And whilst they did hit incredibly hard, they do drop a pretty decent amount of echoes, and on top of that, they drop high level gems, and their moves aren't even that bad. In between things, I picked up my personal invitation to the ball at Painhurst Castle, I'm sorry I read that wrong, Cainhurst Castle, to pick up all the valuable items laying around, as well as all the blood chunks I could find. Make sure you try and pick up everything because you'll get really good echoes if you sell these items. After acquiring the last blood chunk, I returned back to the dream. Sold everything and made about 90,000 blood echoes like I was some internet financial guru selling you some trash course on how to become rich in 10 minutes. Link in the description, by the way. Combined with my aforementioned farming of the flame sword knights in the dungeons, I reached 45 skill. I reinforced my cane to +7 and it was finally time to defeat Vicar Amelia. She cried, then she transformed into a furry, so I had to break her limbs with the transformed cane as a form of punishment for becoming such a degenerate weirdo. Weirdly, she seemed to really enjoy it. Also, can I just say real quick that I can never understand what the hell is going on during this fight because of her robes and hair getting in the way. What is this? The last boss of Elden Ring's DLC? I don't get how anybody can tell me that this is a good fight. The weirdo even tried to heal herself, but at that point, there was nothing she could have done. And the vicar went down. And with her out of the picture, I could finally reach the DLC. I arrived at the Hunter's Nightmare and I immediately ran to open up the shortcut, picked up all the blood chunks in the area, and I returned to the dungeon to farm for more blood gems and echoes. These are some of the best gems I could find for now, and as you can see, I'm still missing a triangular gem, which we'll do something about in just a little bit. Back to the Shaded Woods to defeat the Shadows of Yharnam. Due to my low health bar, I was kind of worried for this fight, as juggling 3 enemies that 1 or 2 shot you isn't exactly fun. Anyone who tried a BL4 run will tell you that this is where the boys become men. But fortunately, it turned out to be a piece of cake. I took half the health of the Katana boy with just 1 visceral, and I was doing fantastic damage. I was a little more cautious with the Pyromancer, attacking him only when I knew it was safe to do so, but still the damage I was dealing was really good, so it didn't really take too long anyways. And then for the Candlestick guy, I just cheesed by attacking, wait for him to dash on his left, attack him again, rinse and repeat. After arriving in Byrgenwerth, I picked up the Lunarium key and I had a potato-shaped spider to bait. She actually looks more like a turd, but let's make it family friendly. So first things first, I squished all the baby spiders out of existence because I hate spiders. Then I popped a beast blood pellet, punched Rom in the face until the meter wasn't filled up, and then I just did a fully charged heavy attack, followed up with a few R1s, charged up once again another heavy attack, and then I just finished her off. One cycling Rom, because I really hate this fight. Back to the dream, thanks to all the toys I was able to sell, I reached 61 skill. And since the soft cap is at 50, the skilling for Visceral was getting much lower now. So I searched for this glyph again, because why not, and I got my first triangular gem from this scurrying beast. But I was here to look for this watcher in particular. Fight me, you fat pussy! This dude is hacking. I know it. Where's my anti-cheat Miyazaki? This guy fortunately drops quite a decent amount of gems, and he also made me filthy rich. Because, money makes you happy. After some farming, I gained over 100k in Blood Echoes. I leveled up once again, and the best gem I found during my farming was this one. But having a gem that subtracts 8 points of health every second, considering I had 9 vitality, didn't really make much sense to me. So instead, I went for this one you're seeing, since it only took a slight penalty over my stamina recovery in exchange of a little bit less damage. I then continued my journey to Yahar Ghul to pick up, you guessed it, the rest of the blood chunks I would need to level up my weapon. It was no easy task. I was also able to pick up the Upper Cathedral ward key while digging around the area, and I got my beloved cane to +9, which by the way, I was falling in love with. Best weapon in the game, and I will die on this hill. It's fast, it looks cool, and can't tell me nothing. So I returned once again to my beloved Chalice dungeon through this glyph this time. I love this mechanic so much. It's not confusing at all, but I wasn't here for those this time. So I killed this troll from the first Harry Potter movie. I unlocked the lever, and in the chest found in the bonus area before the boss room, there it was. The thing I had been looking for all my life, just to cite Phil Collins. It's not true. It only took me like 5 minutes to find it. And my internet connection died just before I could pick it up. Never mind, we're back. And I could finally put my hands on the Blood Rock. While looking for said Blood Rock, I was able to farm quite a bit of souls, and I leveled up, reaching 74 skill, +10 threaded cane, and hopes in my heart. So I got the Cosmic Eye Watcher badge back in Upper Cathedral Ward, and I was able to have my first dance with Ludwig. Ah, music to my ears. Ludwig was definitely the most fun boss to fight during this challenge. I feel like I say that every time. Having this little health bar meant that I needed to play as good as I could and try to avoid his most damaging attacks. After a few deaths, I came up with a pretty consistent strategy. I would start by performing not one, but 2 heavy charge attack with the untransformed cane. The second attack would usually get him staggered. Then I'd followed up with a few hits just to get some damage in, and at this point I would use the transformed version of the weapon to practically do the same thing. When he jumps up on the ceiling, I would just walk towards the opposite direction he was facing before jumping. His most dangerous attack is definitely when he leaps towards you, you know the one, so I had to make sure I was prepared to dodge it. At this point, only a few more hits, and I was able to trigger his second phase. Unfortunately, we aren't going to watch the most baddest cutscene in gaming history. Sorry, Bloodborne fans. Phase 2 is way easier, as if you stay close to him, a lot of his attacks tend to miss. Be careful though of his projectiles, cause those hurt a lot. I almost got killed by this dick move, but fortunately I was able to recover quickly enough, and with 3 hits straight to his cock, I got him staggered for a riposte, which did significant damage to his health. Then, a miracle happened. He started charging up his Moonlight attack, and I was able to simply finish him during the animation. And the crazy horse was now only a distant nightmare. With the first boss of the DLC downed, I actually remembered that I could have gotten the Claw Mark rune to inflict more damage with my viscerals. Oh well, better late than never, I guess. And since I was at it, I made sure to pick the 10% Claw Mark rune as well. Time for the One Reborn. Needless to say, I completely broke this fight. After taking the blood pellet, I simply went around the boss, breaking each limb, infinitely staggering him until he left the Twitch chat. Back in the DLC, after collecting the eye pendant from Lawrence, I took the elevator all the way up to the research hall, where your typical research hall stuff happened. People falling off from the stairs, unlocked the boss fight, got chased around by some naked guys with testicle heads, and I got killed by the spaghetti-shaped arms of the living failures. I also got nuked out of existence by the living failures because, that's always fun. But on the realsies, one visceral attack was more than enough to kill one failure, so I tried parrying as much as I could in this fight. Fortunately, it's pretty easy to. Just wait for them to do a melee attack and shoot. After about 4 or 5 times doing this, they got really low. But my IQ also dropped about 40 points because I started using a hit and run strategy for some reason. They were so low on health that I just had to shoot one bullet with my pistol to kill them. But unfortunately, I got hit at the last second by one of their projectiles. I still managed to beat the fight, but it was by a fraction of a second. Next up, Lady Maria, the only woman that could get a man. a true Chad like me to become a simp. And simping for her I have. But unfortunately, no matter how much money I've thrown to her OnlyFans, I thought I could fix her, but she was too corrupted, so she had to go. The fight didn't turn out to be my cleanest, as I got hit like an idiot a couple of times at the beginning, but as soon as I got into the rhythm of things, it became so easy. Viscerals were doing great damage, and the range of the transformed Kain really played to my advantage. The best attack to parry is when she charges both of her blades. The window of opportunity is pretty generous, and I took advantage of the phase transition to get in as much damage as possible. And with one more parry and riposte, I sent her into third phase. And at this point, it was a matter of when to attack to finish her. Overall, easy fight, but fun nonetheless. Back to the base game, I had my most hated fight out of all of them coming up. Mikolash, host of the Nightmare. Which is strange because he is usually the protagonist of my nightmares. I can see his sorry little ass running around aimlessly while making my single-digit IQ go off the rails.
No one can catch us. No one can stop us.
Why can't you just shut up, Mikolash? Sorry for that. Anyways, of course, on my first attempt, he just kept spamming his call beyond bullshit. One or two shotting me because after 10 years, I still have no fucking idea how to dodge that shit. Also, I don't know why the poison knife's cheese tactic wasn't working for me. After throwing the second knife, he would simply disappear for a number of seconds, making it impossible to poison him. So I came up with a different strategy. I upgraded my pistol to +7, bought some bone marrow ashes to raise the attack power of my pistol by 40%, bought a few molotovs as well, and it was game on. First phase is pretty straightforward, just walk left to avoid the snakes and counter attack, and the damage will take care of the rest. During second phase, I just shot the man with my pistol using the bone marrow ashes and the high ground. Obviously, I didn't do enough damage to finish him, and unfortunately, while trying to throw a molotov at him, I fell into the pit. Fortunately though, he was really low on health, so I then took the plunge once I was able to get to his position, and after that, one hit is all it took to take the madman down. After some chalice dungeon farming, I was finally able to reach 99 skill. And what did this achieve? Not much. As I said, the soft cap is at 50, so there isn't a huge difference, but it's definitely there. Also, the build wasn't exactly optimized, as I could have gone even further beyond with the damage, but I felt like it was more than enough to wrap up this challenge. Next up, we have Mergo, and apart from dying because of some stupid miscalculation on my part, there isn't much to say about this fight. Try to always stay behind her, especially when she starts cutting through the air nonsensically. I'm over here, Mergo. Who are you attacking exactly? The thing with Mergo is that she has a fuck ton of health. When she calls up her clones, just run around the arena and nothing will happen to you. This attack does look scary, but it's honestly so easy to avoid everything that it's just a minor inconvenience at this point. Anyways, just whip her on the ass and move on, you shall pass. Simple as that. If you're wondering why we can hear a baby crying after the boss, well, that's the sound you hear whenever Dr. Disrespect is nearby. Now, I know that in my last Bloodborne video, I failed to defeat the Orphan of Kos, and you guys didn't miss the opportunity to tell me in the comments about my fails as a player and creator. So this time, here's a montage of me defeating the giant baby. Alright guys, time to wrap things up in a nice little red bow. Starting with Gehrman, the guy that started it all. Just like the rest of the humanoid bosses, parries are your best friend. In just 2 parries, I got his health down to approximately 50%. Once he goes in second phase, just wait for him to pull out the scythe, as he is much easier to parry when he's using that. And just like Gascoigne, wait till he spins that thing and watch the magic happen. One last parry was all I needed to end the fight, becoming possibly my fastest Gehrman fight ever. Unfortunately guys, I am the biggest fraud since Mr. Beast, and unfortunately I forgot to eat the 3 umbilical cords before fighting Gehrman, meaning that Gehrman was the last boss I fought. Go ahead and press A for autism down in the comments. But if there is one thing that I've learned from this challenge, is that all you need to beat Bloodborne is skill. So the memes are true. It's just a skill issue. If you enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a like guys, comment down below everything I missed, and please subscribe to the channel for more awesome content. Okay guys, that's all I've got for today. I will see you in the next challenge. Can I get a Tua now?